For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The Biden administration has warned Israel it must increase the amount of humanitarian aid allowed into Gaza within the next 30 days or risk losing access to U.S. weapons funding. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin informed their Israeli counterparts in a letter dated Sunday. For Israel to continue qualifying for foreign military financing, the level of aid entering Gaza must increase to at least 350 trucks per day. Additionally, Israel must implement more humanitarian pauses and provide greater security for aid sites. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller emphasized the urgent need for increased aid amid a worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, noting Israel has 30 days to meet those requirements. The announcement comes just days after Vice President Kamala Harris noted on social media no food has entered northern Gaza in nearly 2 weeks and said Israel must urgently do more to facilitate the flow of aid to those in need. She said civilians must be protected and must have access to food, water, and medicine. International humanitarian law must be respected. The Defense Department's defending its decision to send 100 U.S. troops to Israel and a THAAD missile system as Israel's planning an attack on Iran. Sabrina Singh is a spokesperson.
It's in keeping with our intent to reduce tensions, and it is, also there to help de-escalate. But of course, as the president has said from the beginning, we are there to support in Israel's self-defense. This is a capability that we felt was needed.
Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant Tuesday says Israel's attack on Iran will be precise, painful, and surprising. Israel's expected to launch the attack before the November election. A new report by the anti-poverty group Oxfam says 21,000 people die each day in dozens of conflict zones around the world due to parties weaponizing starvation against children and other vulnerable people, including in Gaza, Sudan, Nigeria, Somalia, and elsewhere. Food Wars, the report's title, examined 54 conflict-affected countries and found they account for nearly 281.6 million people facing acute hunger today, 99% of them. The report says warring parties actively weaponize food by deliberately targeting food, water, and energy infrastructure and by blocking food aid. The report was released today on World Food Day. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his plan to win the fight against Russia's invasion could bring peace next year. It contains a step, though, some crucial Western allies have refused. That's inviting Ukraine to join NATO before the war's end. Zelensky's also pushing for Western allies to loosen regulations on the use of long-range missiles to strike deeper into Russia, another sticking point. Vice President and Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris courted the black male vote Tuesday, warning rival Republican Donald Trump would institutionalize harsh policing tactics that disproportionately affect black men. Harris spoke during a radio town hall moderated by Charlemagne the God, and said racial disparities and bias exist in everyday life for black people.
Ask Donald Trump what his plan is for black America. Ask him. I'll tell you what it is. Look at Project 2025. Project 2025 tells you the plan includes making police departments have stop and frisk policies. My plan that is about building up home ownership in the black community. We can do that.
Harris also spoke in support of decriminalizing marijuana, which accounts for arrests that have disproportionate impact on black men.
I will work on decriminalizing it because I know exactly how those laws have been used to disproportionately impact certain populations and specifically black men.
Donald Trump at a rally in Georgia blamed Harris's immigration policies for devastating black and Latino communities and used xenophobic rhetoric in his economic message, warning against a Harris presidency.
She wants to let her millions of illegal Medicare, she wants to raid Medicare. That's what they're going to do, raid Medicare, Social Security.
He also said Harris's supporters of color should have their heads checked. Harris is black and Indian.
Any African American or Hispanic, and you know how well I'm doing there, that votes for Kamala, you got to have your head examined, because they are really screwing you. They are really screwing you.
Harris and Trump are scrambling to win over black voters, women, and other key constituencies in what's being called a razor-tight election. Officials say Israeli airstrikes have pounded areas across Lebanon, killing at least 21 people, including more than a dozen in a southern town. The city's mayor was among the dead in a strike that Lebanese officials said targeted a meeting coordinating relief efforts. Israel said it was targeting Hezbollah. I'm Christina Onestad, reporting for Pacifica Radio.